Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Austin here, or Luna. Hope you guys are having a wonderful night so far, or day, or whatever it is for you. It's currently Thursday, October 30th, 9:23 p.m. as I'm recording this. So, if you're watching this recently, I hope you're having a good Thursday. If you're watching this not so recently, I hope you're having a good time in the future. Anyway, today's story time, it's a good one, judging by the title, if you can't tell already. It's an interesting one. It's about the time that I got my car stolen. I thought I told the story a long time ago, but upon looking at my channel, I haven't. And I think you guys will all enjoy hearing about it. So I hope you do enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do. And yeah, man, let's just get into this because it's an interesting one. So today's story time all takes place back in the year of 2019. Now, actually, around this time, I didn't have my license, but I had a car. Make it make sense. So to give you some backstory, my brother had this like really shitty Saturn. It was probably worth a total of like $2,000 to $3,000. It was not a very, very nice car. It was pretty old, pretty fucked up. And he bought a new car and he didn't need his anymore. So he just gave his old one to me to practice in and to have and to keep at my apartment. Sometimes I'd let my friends drive it. Most of the time I'd be driving it because I still had my permit, so I could drive. I just couldn't drive alone. But yeah, I had this little shitty Saturn at my apartment and I actually love that thing and I miss it. It's gone now. Rest in peace, my sweet Saturn. But yeah, I had this car, right? So yeah, the story time takes place in 2019. Around this time, I was living in New York, had my own apartment, I had this car, and like I said earlier, a lot of the times I'd let my friends drive it or I'd practice in it. And around this time, I was practicing a lot because I was gearing up to take my road test and get my license. And I called up my brother and I was like, hey man, can you come over to my place? Let's go drive around for a little bit. I'm trying to get some practice in. He's like, bet, sounds good. So my brother came over and we both got in the car. And we started driving around, and we ended up driving for a good like hour and a half, just listening to music, talking about life, just being brothers, you know, talking about brother stuff, just our family, shit that's going on in our lives. We're talking about YouTube, because my YouTube channel was doing pretty good at the time, talking about his job. Things were good, right? Just talking. Now, after about an hour and a half of driving, we both get pretty hungry, pretty like, you know, not in the mood to keep driving. So we pull over at a nearby like gas station thing. It was like half gas station, half pizza place. Pretty odd combo, but I was like, hey, fuck it, sounds good. And we went to this gas station, we ordered 2 slices, and then we went in to like the back area where they had the drinks and stuff. We got some drinks, and we got our food, and we sat down at one of the tables inside, and we started eating. Now, while we're eating, we're doing the same thing we were doing in the car. We're just talking about life, talking about a whole bunch of random shit. Just enjoying our conversation, right? Well, all of a sudden, I look out the window, right? And I see this guy. He's walking from across the street into the parking lot of the gas station I was at. And he looked like he was homeless. He had a shopping cart with him with like a lot of stuff, a lot of belongings. He had one of those cardboard signs with him. And he was walking towards the parking lot of the gas station me and my brother were at. And that was not unusual. Pretty much any time I was at a gas station in the city, it was not unusual to see a homeless person or two. And I thought he was just going to walk, you know, to the gas station, come inside and buy some stuff, right? Well, all of a sudden, I see him walk up to my Saturn, my car, and I think, okay, maybe he's just like walking by it a little close, you know? But then he stops and he's looking in the windows, and I tap my brother on the shoulder and I was like, yo, check that out. And we both look at him and he's looking at the windows of my car, and my brother goes, you locked it, right? And I was like, yeah, but let me make sure. And I go to reach in my back pocket where I have my keys, and they're not there. And I go, oh shit. And then I look back out the window and I see this homeless man opening my driver's side door of my car. And I look at my brother and I was like, oh fuck. He goes, bro, you didn't lock it? And I was like, dude, I thought I did. And guys, let me stop real quick. I always would lock my car. This had to be like 1 of 100 times that didn't happen. Anytime I leave the house or I'm out somewhere, my car is locked. Anytime I'm going anywhere, my house is locked. I lock all my stuff very, very frequently. So me and my brother, of course, get up from our booth, the table we were sitting at, and we start running to the front door of this gas station so we can go outside and stop this homeless man from going into my car and taking stuff, right? So that's what we thought he was going to do. Well, little did I know, I left the keys in the car because when we went out front and we went outside to try and stop the homeless guy, he was in the car backing out of our parking spot and leaving. So yeah, I guess I left my keys in the car because he was able to turn it on and leave. And yeah, we obviously tried to chase him down, but he was in my car, so he was a lot faster than me and my brother. And it was like some scene out of a movie, bro. He was pulling out of the parking lot, going real fast, and we're chasing him, and he peeled off into the street and drove away. And me and my brother were both left standing there in the gas station parking lot with like our hands on our heads, like, oh, fuck. And the gas station manager came out and he's like, what just happened? And I was like, dude, that guy just stole my car. He's like, what? I'm calling the cops. And he called the cops. And me and my brother are just waiting out front on this bench for the cops to pull up. And we're like in disbelief at what just happened. And my brother looked over at me and he's like, dude, like, what even happened? Like, did you leave your keys like on the front seat or something? Like, how do you get them? And I was like, bro, I don't know. I must have left them out somewhere because he drove away, but they weren't in my pocket. And he's like, dude, like, what the fuck? And you left your car unlocked? I was like, I know, man, I'm an idiot. And I really was an idiot. Like, double whammy, bro. I left the keys on the seat and I left it unlocked. Like, just absolute, like, generational level of stupidity, bro. Like, insane. That's like a car thief's dream. Keys left out in plain sight in the car and the car's unlocked. Like, too easy. So, yeah, me and my brother are standing there, and while we're waiting for the cops, my brother calls my mom and lets her know that the car just got stolen, because technically the title was in my mom's name, because I couldn't put it in my name because I didn't have my license yet. So even though it was like my car and I drive it a lot and have my friends drive it, and it was in my apartment, it still was technically my mom's car by title. So, yeah, we had to, like, call the cops, call my mom, let her know. She was obviously freaking out, wondering what happened. She was also in disbelief that I was dumb enough to not lock it and leave my keys out. It was just all a shit show, right? Well, anyway, a few minutes later, the cops finally pull up. We give the cops the whole story. We tell them everything. And just like my mom and my brother, the cops were also like, what? Like, you left your keys in the car and it was unlocked? Like, really? Basically just saying, like, you're an idiot, Austin. You're stupid. And I was like, I know, I've heard it, I know, I'm obviously going to be more careful in the future. So anyway, like, while me and my brother were talking to the cops, we gave them, like, a description of this dude. We were like, yeah, like, he was most likely homeless. He looked like this. He had white facial hair, white hair on top. He had tattoos. You know, we're giving him a description, right? And actually, this homeless guy made it kind of easy for the police to help track him down because he left his cart there. Yeah, remember how I said, like, he had a shopping cart with his belongings in it? Yeah, he left the shopping cart behind and just stole my car. And in that shopping cart, they were able to find some of his belongings that could help identify him. They actually ended up finding a picture in his belongings of him. There was like a printed out picture of him and some girl, like, taking a selfie together. So they had a face. So that was good. Didn't have a name, but they had a face. And they said they'd be looking for him around the area, and that they alerted all the other cops nearby to look for him, and they know where a lot of the homeless people in this area frequent, so they could probably find it. And they were pretty confident that they were going to find my car. Like, based on what they were telling me, it seemed like there was a pretty good chance they'd end up finding it eventually. So I just kind of stepped back and let the police do their job. And for the next week, nothing fucking happened. Literally for a week. I was like just not hearing shit, no sign of my car anywhere. My mom was freaking out because obviously she wanted to find it too, and my brother was really eager to know, and there was just no updates. Every time I talked to the police about it, they hadn't found it yet, and honestly, I can't lie, guys, I thought I was fucked. I thought it was over because it had been a week, and there was just no sign of it, and I live in a pretty small city, so I honestly thought like a week would be more than enough time to find it, especially given the guy was homeless most likely, and there's only a few areas in this city where the homeless people would frequent. So I was pretty shocked it wasn't found yet, and I can't lie, I thought it was over. I thought the homeless dude jumped in my whip, turned that shit on, and drove to California. Genuinely. I thought he took it to a different state, because like I really expected it to be found by now. And yeah, fast forward a few more days. At this point, it's a week and a half in, still no sign of my car anywhere. At this point, I'm thinking about just buying another one, like just getting another beater and keeping that, because I didn't think they'd find it. When all of a sudden, I'm sitting on my couch watching some TV, and my phone starts ringing. And the number looked familiar. It looked like a phone number I had talked to like earlier in the week. So I answered it. I was like, hello. And he goes, hey, this is Officer Blank. We spoke not too long ago. Do you remember? And I was like, yeah, of course. What's up? And I was pretty eager, right? Because it's like, okay, the cops are calling me. It's obviously about my car. What are they about to tell me, right? And he goes, I have great news. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, good news and kind of bad news, but mostly good. I was like, let's hear it. He goes, we found your car. And I was like, let's go. Like, really? He's like, yeah, we found it. And now I was worried about the bad news because he said good and bad. And that could mean a lot of things. Like, that could mean, hey, we found your car, but it's in a million pieces on fire. Or like, hey, we found your car, but it's totaled. So I didn't know if the condition of my car was going to be good based on what he was telling me. So I asked the cop. I was like, all right, give me the bad news. Like, what's the bad news? He goes, the bad news is there's no sign of the dude that took it. Like, we found it off a highway, like in some brush, just like abandoned. Like, the door was just open. It was by a street sign, like off the highway in some tall grass, just sitting there. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, weird. I know. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe he spun out or something. Didn't feel like driving after that and just ran off and left it here. But there's not a scratch on the thing. It's in good shape. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. On top of that, he had some things in the back that I don't think belong to you. And I was like, what kind of things? He's like, well, we found a metal detector. We found some clothes that belong to a much older person than you probably. And on top of that, we found a bag full of like a bunch of stuff from the drugstore. I was like, what? Like what? He's like cough medicine, Sudafed, some other stuff. Basically just telling me that this guy had a bunch of like over-the-counter medicine. I asked him how much Sudafed there was because I've heard through like TV shows and the internet that people sometimes get a lot of that stuff to try and make a worse drug with it. Shout out Breaking Bad. And he was like, no, it's not enough for any of that. Like, no, don't worry. I know what you're thinking. So I was just confused. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like he stole my car and then like got a cold or something and like bought cold medicine, then spun out and abandoned it. Like we were just so confused. Even the cop found it like ridiculous. But it was in working condition. My car was okay. And it was safely returned back to my apartment with my mom there waiting as well. And I got it back. Now I know what you're thinking. Dude, what about the dude? Did they ever catch him? No. They didn't fucking find him, bro. This man was like the Batman of car thieves, apparently, because he just fucking vanished afterward. They kept looking, like they did. They kept an eye out for the dude. They had his face, like they knew what he looked like. But somehow, they never fucking found him. To this day, never found him. Honestly, at this point, they're definitely probably not looking. But, you know, back then, like, I lived in a small area. It was actually insane to me that he never was caught. My guess, he spun out, abandoned the car, and then found some way to, like, go somewhere else. Maybe he went like a town over or something. Because like, yeah, where I lived, it was a small place. I really cannot believe he wasn't found. But yeah, I was just happy to get the car back because I love that thing. And I got to drive it for a couple more years and it was actually in great shape the rest of those years and had no problems. But I ended up selling it. Yeah, I ended up selling it during the pandemic. You know, I didn't need it anymore, got an upgrade, and we ended up selling it to some dude that needed it more than I did. So yeah, sold it to him. He might be driving it right now for all I know. And he has no idea that at one point, there was a homeless man speeding down the highway with a bag full of cold medicine and some clothes with no care in the world. And then he somehow ended up off the highway in some tall grass and abandoned it. Yeah, that car's got history, man. I kind of miss it. I can't lie. But in the end, everybody was okay. I got my car back. It was safe. Everybody was okay. The dude that took it seemed to have got away with it, but, you know, it could have been worse. So in the end, I'm just glad to have gotten it back. But yeah, man, that is the story. Pretty wild. And there's a very clear moral to this story. You ready? Moral of the story is, if any of you drive, or just in general, if you have a house key or whatever, make sure your car is always locked before you leave it unattended, and make sure your house is always locked before you leave it unattended. Make sure anything you care about that has a lock on it is locked before you leave it unattended, because you never know if some motherfucker might come along and take it, or mess with it or something. But yeah, guys, that's the story. It's a pretty good one in my opinion. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. I know y'all have been craving the long videos again. I've had plans all week to do them, but I keep waking up at like 10 p.m. and it's made it really hard to do a long video because then it goes up at like 2 in the morning. But I do have a Halloween special tomorrow, which is on that longer side, so don't worry. It's going to be good. Lock in. It's also pretty spooky. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.
I got trouble for days. Why is everybody acting like they got a friend? Type of shit I seen these days you couldn't comprehend. Making what I want, no cap. Heard he don't like me, I laugh. I take a sick